Ndị be anyị ekenekwanụ m unu ọzọ n'ụbọchị uhuruchi nke taa. Asị m unu ka nke echikwara ya zelu. Asị m ndị be anyị na ya dịra nchere na mma, ya dịra n'Igbo na mma, na n'Igbo ya dịrịrị. Asị na ya dịrị ụmụ Chukwu na mma kara bụ ndị na-esoro anyị ya na-eme n'iru akwụkwọ na Eastern News 24. Anyị sị na Chukwu oke abịa mapụrụ ihe niile ga-anọ elu ncha niile n'ofu n'ofu n'obi m n'obi niile unu chọọ bụ ihe dị mma na unu ya eweta ya otu anyị kwuru otu akwa ya dịrịrị. Ise ise dịka o si dị, anyị wetakwara unu ya bụ ozi maka anyị kwere unu nkwa na anyị ga na-ewetara unu ya bụ ọpdeti bụ gbasata maka ihe na-eme n'obodo ana gbasata maka nwere ụwa a na-azọ. Dịka o si dị, nwere ife the former president bụ Chief Olusegun Obasanjo kwuru n'elu akwụkwọ. M sị ka m wetara unu ka unu tụrụ ego dalụ na ya bụ ife, ka unu gee ya, unu kabarụ tọọ ntị nara gee ya bụ ife, ị ga-esia ya iduga dropụra your own comments ife iche gbasata maka ihe ndị a niile okwu n'iru akwụkwọ. Alright, over to you, sir.
Scaling more heights and scoring several more goals. Amen. It is with a very deep sense of responsibility and commitment that I address you today as chairman of the public presentation of the book titled In Brotherhood We Stand, a Roadmap for the Rebirth of a Fragmented Nation, written by the birthday boy Chris Okoye himself. This book is of interest to me because it is a direct fallout from the National Political Reform Conference, which my administration organized in 2005 and which Chris Okoye is a delegate. The 22-chapter book can be described as prescriptively interesting and exciting. As I said during my inaugural speech to the delegates, the National Political Reform Conference presented us with the opportunity to reassess, refocus, redefine, and redesign our political landscape in a direction that will strengthen the bonds of unity, enhance the process of democracy consolidation, strengthen the structures so as to solidify those values that promote democracy, good governance, and good neighborliness, and open boundless opportunities for all Nigerians to be and to feel that they are integral part of the evolving political process and socio-economic advancement of a nation destined to be great. Late Professor Ben Nwabweze, in his foreword to the book, stated, and I quote, "A time comes in the life of a nation when she must do away with histrionics and face the reality of her development challenges with courage, honesty, and commitment." End of quotation. The clarion call in Nigeria today is one for restructuring and a reassessment of the terms of our union as a nation. No matter how economically viable a nation is, bad governance and a wrong system of administration can bring it down. Indeed, there's direct correlation between economic and political reforms. As a nation, our history reveals clearly that we have been through some difficult times and have missed great opportunities. Our historical experiences at constitution making and political reforms show that we may have some structural defects that require adjustment so as not to continue to constrain the deepening, widening, and consolidation of democratic values and practices. Indeed, some of the contradictions and challenges bequeathed by the colonial administration have continued to pose problems for us to this day. And one of such bequests is Western liberal democracy. As things stand, therefore, our constitution-making efforts must go down to the grassroots to deal with the issues of inclusion, popular participation, equity, ownership, and legitimacy, rights and obligations with adequate components of African communalism, caring and sharing. While we have managed to work with available instruments and institutions over the years, some of the imperfections in the system and the constrained legitimacy of the instrument have culminated in seeming alienation of some constituencies and the inability to have all hands on deck. These, over time, had led to coups and counter-coups, political manipulation, weak political parties, and poor leadership, corruption, and the inability of the state to meet the basic needs of the people. In one word, we have been rolling from one bad governance to another. In the process, we try to adjust to the weaknesses of the system and equally adapted to doing without some of those fundamentals that really ought to drive the political process. Some issues that have emerged include, but are not limited to, the challenge of constitutionalism and constitutional reform, the opportunity to bring all stakeholders together to discuss the preferred political path for the nation, the challenge of building new, accountable, responsive, and focused leadership with enchanting character and attributes, and how to build, operate, and sustain real political liberties, social justice, rights and obligations, electoral reforms that ensure credibility, integrity, and respectability of elections, relation between tiers of government, performance of government, and how to ensure truly democratic governance for all. In all of this, the central challenge is still how to strengthen the social contract between the custodian of state powers and the governed, and whoever we are, giving ourselves mutual respect. Of course, not all segments, constituencies, and individuals will be or can be totally satisfied. This is normal in every nation, and we are no individual or group should be deliberately or systemically left out. The best way to express maturity and patriotism is to be positive and objective. What we want in Nigeria is unity, cohesion, equity, justice, togetherness, and collective commitment to our progress and to the Nigeria project. We want to move forward, look forward, move up, and look up about the past to help the present and to inspire the future, and work for a stronger and more united Nigeria in a true democracy with African content. In a democracy, there must be checks and balances, and there must be effective watchdogs with African history and culture. One issue that have to resolve. One issue we have to resolve is who watches the watchdog effectively and transparently, with whistle blowing at the levels of the legislature, executive, judiciary, and the fourth estate of the realm. Critically, one of the areas I think we have the greatest headache is in our composition and performance of the electoral management body, the Independent National Electoral Commission. Let the President recommend and let the National Assembly compose the commission after public hearing to expose each candidate so that the hidden and dark aspect of their life can be seen. And the body must be responsible to the National Assembly to reduce the influence of the executive and reduce the possibility of rigging emanating from the top. This book will stand, this book in brotherhood will stand a road for the rebirth of a fragmented nation. May not be the total solution to Nigeria's problems and challenges, but it will certainly be one of the sure guides for the Nigeria of our dreams, where democracy and good governance are sustained and where our diversity become the strongest fusion of our unity. from my observation in the book, not attempt to analyze nor compare. It may create vision of workable system and set out to present proposals and programs that can be said to be realistically designed and calculated for the realization of the system that will work. That will work better. This book resonates as an actionable treatise on the nature of Nigeria's federalism. It proposes reform of the judiciary and makes a case for collapse of grouping of the present 36 states into regional structures using the 6 geopolitical zones as a template. It shows at a glance that the failure of the nation's democracy is indeed the result of the absence of strong institutions and platforms upon which democracy must thrive. The recurrent problem of electoral corruption and lack of free and fair and credible election as such, which thrives when political institutions are weak, was not left out. 2 important organs of the democratic society, the judiciary and the legislature, were presented as indispensable handmaids of a democratic state. The burning issue on the composition of our electoral umpire, INEC, is also not left out. A very strong note in this very well-produced book is the issue of restructuring and referendum to assert the sovereignty of the people to effect changes in a polity. The experiences of several nations on the power of the people through referendum show that it has been successfully used in authenticating of policies, building institutions, and the adoption of political systems and leadership. It cannot be any different in Nigeria. Well, there will be areas where others will not fully agree with Chris Okoye in this book, even though it's essentially the outcome of a conference. I have areas of my reservation, but it is a book that can enhance the discourse and raise the level of discourse on Nigeria of our dream, Nigeria that we want, a Nigeria that will lift us up to where God has created us to be. Lastly, I must not fail to congratulate Engineer Chris Okoye, Engineer Chris Okoye's wife, Professor Ifeoma Okoye, for attaining the biblical age of 70 and still going strong, for successfully bringing to a close a very impactful career in the Nigerian health sector. Madam, you may be retired, but certainly not tired or old at all from the way you look. And if I may dare say, by comparison, you and I, if I am still not old, you cannot claim to be old. And when the global community, Nigerian nation, and the authorities of the University of Nigeria in Nsukka and the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, UNTH, come knocking, please do not turn your back on them. I cannot close this speech without acknowledging the efforts of a Nigerian that is slowly but surely becoming the conscience of our nation. I'm talking, of course, my brother Peter Obi, in ensuring I share this occasion. He left no stone unturned to make sure that I make myself available. I am glad that I do online. Thank you all, and may God bless Nigeria and every Nigerian, especially at a time such as the one we are presently living in. Thank you.
But this is someone that's come and time past and said that he's come out to say that he's not an Igbo, but all of a sudden he's now admitting to him being an Igbo. I don't know what has really changed, but what do you see? What can you say to that?
You know, that's why it looks as if Igbo man is peaceful. Igbo man are the most radicalized black nation in the world. We are pesetters in all ramifications. When you talk about cube, it was Igbo man that did the first cube in Nigeria. When you talk about anything at all, we set the ball rolling first before anybody. Even recently, you can see it is everywhere. Igbo man was the first person to lift Olympics in Atlanta. We are pesetters. You can't take that away from us. Why you see, bros? Why we are saying this thing is not just for record purposes. It's just the right thing we are talking about. That do not look at the humility and the simplicity, because the humble looking of a lion does not mean that the lion is weak. Asari Dokubo should not take Igbos for granted, and he knows we are not violent people. We believe in peace. But if you say that I will not have peace, show me where I will have peace. That is what Igbo man believes in. And that is what they have been living on for centuries. So anything that is away from that, we are not going to take it. Bro, Asari himself knows that he's too small. When we want to handle somebody like him, he's too small. The humble looking of a lion does not mean that the lion is weak. That's just the truth. So until we get to that level, where that consciousness will come, and of course it's coming. You know, those who say they are not, they are beginning to say they are. That is just the way to go. I think he's beginning to lose grip. You know, his hope is beginning to fall him. You know, reality has begun to stare him in the face. You know, you can fake a lot of things in this world, but you cannot fake reality. You know, Asari Dokubo himself knows that he has faked a lot of things, you know, and those things he has faked has come back to haunt him. The only thing that can stand in life is reality. You know, you can fake your certificate like Tinubu, fake your lifestyle like anybody, you know, but reality is reality. You understand what I'm saying? So I think to a certain point now, Asari Dokubo has beginning to realize reality, and reality has continued to stare him on the face. You know, before now, prior to that election era, you saw how the kind of statement that was coming from the, I don't want to use a derogatory adjective to qualify him against the Igbos, you know, where he was threatening. He even said that his grandfather, listen, to tell you the kind of a man he is. He even said that his grandfather enslaved Igbos, you know, that Igbos were slaves to his grandfather. You know, but the same Igbos that he's saying that they were slaves to their grandfather are the same Igbos you come out recently to say that your father is from is an Igbo man and therefore automatically that you are an Igbo man. But we know the truth. The truth is, the fact is, the Ijos, majority of the Ijos, majority of the Kalabari, him too is from, Kalabari and Ijo, they are just, they share border, they are just like, Ogun State, Lagos and Ogun State, they just, they share the same community, the same everything. So Asari Dokubo is a Kalabari man, and the Kalabari, they have all close relationship with the Ijo, so he can actually claim Kalabari, he can also claim Ijo. But what I'm trying to say is that about 50% of the Ijos, the so-called Ijo, so to say, are people of Igbo extraction. That is just it. Because if you can remember the history, there was a man they called King Jaja of Popopo in those days. The King Jaja of Popopo is the man that founded the Boni, and the Boni axis houses what is Shekiri Urobo. Name them, all those areas, the entire Niger Delta precisely. That's the truth. It was that King Jaja of Popopo that was in charge of that territory. So if Asari is coming out to say, okay, whether he has repented or he has lost hope to what he was expecting, he wanted to use such statement to negotiate, he has failed woefully, and prodigally he is coming back to his basis. Of course, the Igbos have no option, because we know that he is Igbo. There is no two way. Me, I know that Asari Dokubo is Igbo. I can even tell you his Igbo name. His father, who is Edi Abale, is from Abam, Ahafia. You understand? Just like Precious Jonathan. Most of these people you see today, are Igbo, but unfortunately, because of the 1976 Nigeria Biafra war, a lot of Igbos, renounce that identity, and turn their own property to abandoned property. But today, all those properties now, they say it's abandoned property in Port Harcourt and elsewhere. The same people have bought it. That is the way it is. So if Asari Dokubo now has realized that, hey, reality is reality and is running for safety, of course he is welcome, but the truth still remains that whether he's playing games or not, we know who he is. This is an Igbo man, from Kalabari. Of course, we know Kalabari is a river state. The river state was founded by a man called Ugwacha. Ugwacha is an Igbo man. Before they came and changed the name to Port Harcourt, some of these missionaries came. They named the place after the missionary. Port Harcourt. That was what the Harcourt. The man's name is Harcourt something. Because the place is located around the coastal area where they always anchor using that port. That's what they call it, Port Harcourt. But the real name of that place is Ugwacha, and Ugwacha in Igbo language means white hill. But do you understand what I'm saying? That is why the Northerners and the Yorubas are leveraging on that to destroy and bring down the Igbo influence and identity. And of course, that question has beginning to arise, and people begin to understand that Wayode everywhere. And that's the reality. Those who are saying like I'm not, go and check their names, they are all Igbos. Even Edwin Clark, but the president or the chairman of Pandef, he was a student of Government College Umahia. He schooled in Government College Umahia, and he was PA to Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe all throughout his life. So anybody that is saying that Igbos are not pesetas in all ramifications in this country is taking it for, is just making a falsified statement. So Asari Dokubo, you are welcome. Whatever that has inspired you, let it continue to inspire you. But the fact still remains that when the cost is clear, we'll define what is at stake. That is just the truth.
But someone's come and said that Asari Dokubo is not consistent with what he says, or is it that some have even said that I think maybe the Igbos will be scared of him for him accepting to be Igbo right now, that this guy maybe someone that if he gives something he will change mouth.
A lot of people don't know that Igbos are radicalized, but because of their Republican nature, they always told the side of peace. Like I always said, Igbo, see, that's the Igbo slogan. Ebebere ugobere. in case he be ebena. Instead, when he go die, make that bed show the other one where he go perch. That's how Igbo man does not believe in taking lives like the Northerners or people from this axis of the Federation. We don't take life. We value life. We take life seriously. You know.
Okay. It was reported that Idris Okunaye, that is aka Bobrisky, will be arraigned to court today for Naira mutilation and abuse of Naira. And this is someone that is very controversial. Has come out to have issue with different celebrities.
Out of social crime against humanity, and it is time that Nemesis catches up on him. What do you mean by Bobrisky? Is Bobrisky a name? Bobrisky is not a name. Those who have used him, and it is time to dump him. And finally, they have dumped him. You know. See, let me tell you, we know what he is doing to AK a living. We know what he's doing, and unfortunately, he has been unveiled, and we have discovered that he is the most unfortunate person to have taken that kind of step. You know, look at him, look at the way he looks. He has painted his face to a point that of no recognition, and it is time now for him to answer to all the crime, social crime he has committed against the consciousness of Nigerian youths. You know, nobody, I've never seen anybody has spoken good of him, of her. Look at, I don't know, even I'm saying that DSS should go as far as arresting those who gave him an award as a female best dresser. They should be arrested. They should be, bros, no matter what, he should be arrested. Those organizers of that event should be arrested. You know, for playing on the psyche, for damaging the psyche of young Nigerians, you know, and for encouraging impunity in the social circle of in Nigeria.
So even some has come and said that in the EFCC custody, whether it's in the male section or the female section.
Yes, now wherever he is, either they put him what they are supposed to be doing. The first day he comes, they put him in the female section. They move him from female section to male section. Everyone. So.
And the by that only no me fair. Couldn't see when I saw any name. The teacher need on an ugunu ye yabi umuninde kowagasi ni rakuko. Nkedi ki be abuki feli ki pubastamaka yabi fair. Now benefit the men are doing no man drop what I comment. Makanagate could no update the Gassi teacher. Could not money banager. Could not model get me juvenile making whereby opio bokoro. I find out where. So I get in different teas, different cookings, different updates. Niro awo. The can we be fair. Drop what I comment to give Bastamaka feature. Niro awo the end that. Alright, thank you and thank you for joining us once again at Eastern News 24. Okay, Messi and Umunem.